right, we are back. How have you been? Another vlog here, and a lot's changed, man. This year in particular has been crazy, but also it's been a few years since I've done an actual vlog style thing, so let's see how it goes. Right, today is like the 2nd of October or the 3rd of October, and it's chilly. I mean, I'm leaving here at 10:30. It's chilly. Brr. Couple things going on. Last week was aeration and overseeding. Did a lot of winter pre-emergent for our Bermuda lawns. Got that knocked out of the way. Just trying to get ahead of those winter weeds. So last week was pretty hectic, just, you know, because I had to do all that on top of my regular mowing. This week, the week of September 29th, you know, we're at the end of it now, but basically I had it pretty light. You know, I was worried that the 1st and 2nd week of October here were going to be, you know, in over my head, but I got a lot done Friday through Sunday, so now we're kind of chilling. Did a few jobs, little mini projects over the last couple days. Did a lot of mowing on Monday and Tuesday, but everyone's on bi-weekly now, because in October the days are shorter, right? They get cut in half basically. The sun goes down sooner. It comes up earlier, but no one wants you to be there at 6:30 when the sun comes up, right? So the days are shorter. It's cold in the morning, and I don't like to do cold, so you know, days are shorter. So I cut everything in bi-weekly lawns starting October 1st, but then on top of that, a lot of the yards that I work on I seeded last week, and I personally like to stay off my lawns for about 2 or 3 weeks. You know, we were supposed to get a ton of rain this week. We didn't, so a lot of my customers' yards are probably not going to be germinating yet. My yard, because I did mine at the same time, mine was germinating. I seeded on Friday. Today is Friday, so it's a week ago, but I seeded last Friday, and the seed was germinating by Wednesday morning, which is insane. But it was the first time that, you know, for my own yard, I used an actual blue tag certified seed. Because normally I've been checking to make sure that the label says 0 weed crop, right, or 0 noxious weed or whatever. But this time I decided to go full on and get a proper blue tag certified grass seed, and like, maybe that's the difference, is just the quality of that seed is, I mean, maybe it's just that much better, you know. I don't know, but with really just one run of the sprinkler, I mean, it was germinating in 3 days, which I mean, that is still kind of blowing my mind. It might be the best stand of grass I've ever had at home, but yeah, things are light. Everyone's bi-weekly. I seeded a lot of them, and yeah, so this week and next I'm taking advantage of the lighter mowing schedule, and before leaves get here, I'm doing a lot of landscape, fall landscape projects, hedge trimming. Got a few hard cutbacks on hedges. I got a few customers I need to reach out to and say, hey, can I reshape your hedge right now? Because going into fall, that's when you want to start doing that stuff. You know, you don't want to wait until summer and then reshape, because like, odds are the shrub can handle it, but your chances greatly increase of killing that thing. You know, so I'm looking at a few hedges at one of my customers' house. I want to cut them in half and just completely, you know, reshape them, because it's a giant, you know, 20 foot or 15 foot tall loropetalum, and it butts up into a ditch. So even putting the tripod ladder down, I can't really reach the top of it. It's, you know, I've got a 12-foot ladder, and I mean, I'm probably 8 feet from the top, even with that ladder, going up as high as I can. But yeah, there's a lot to do, there's a lot to be done, and I'm really trying to take advantage of this lighter lawn period while seeds germinating and season change has finally happened. But on to this first yard of the day. Alright, so here we are on a little teeny tiny yard, and this one's an ideal property size, right? Unfortunately, it's treated by True Green, as you can tell, but also unfortunately these new builds, they're kind of crazy because they're all these little cookie cutter houses that they put up in like no time. I mean, probably 60 houses in 6 months, maybe even 80. I don't know how many's out here, but there's like this neighborhood, there's one just one turn around the corner, another like similar this size, and then if you go down the road a little bit of ways, they carved out a whole mountain within like a weekend. And I'm not even joking, like a full like forest and hillside and like huge chunk of land. They just gutted it, and they've already within a year put another, you know, I don't know, 50, 60 houses after completely gutting and re-terraforming the hillside and woods in this weird location. It's like the weirdest spot. I don't even know how to describe it, you know, but it was literally, I went and mowed some of these yards one week. It was woods and it was mountain and it was hill and it was unlivable. And then I came back the following and it was completely gutted, deforested, cut out. They had a retention pond installed. They did a crap ton of work in like a matter of a week just to put more of these cookie cutter houses out, which, like, I don't know, it's crazy to me that they're able to do that quickly. Like, how do you coordinate all of that? It blows my mind. But yeah, man, the main thing that is a problem with stuff like this, though, as impressive as it is to put up this many houses, all of these yards, they pretty much, there's no good soil, right? So if these yards are going to be successful in the long run, we're going to have to bring in some topsoil or some compost and do multiple rounds of like compost top dressing. A lot of these yards, because I've got 2 or 3 in here, they're literally just concrete blocks from the construction. They dug holes and buried them, and when they made the foundation for the neighbor on one of my yards, it looks like they pushed all of the dirt to that neighbor, the other neighbor's side, and then just kind of sort of smoothed everything out when they finished building. Like, it's an absolute cluster. You know, it's going to be very difficult for these folks to get a yard. And you know, this is recorded in like October, so things are slowing down, but it's not that bad, right? I still got plenty of green Bermuda lawns, even in the 3rd week of October. I think I recorded this in the 1st week of October. So I'm sitting here recording this voiceover the 3rd week, and I just mowed, last night I mowed a perfectly fine green healthy Bermuda, you know, and that's going to go dormant in the next few days, weeks, whatever anyway. But still, the point is, yes, we're in the fall. Bermuda's not going to be pristine, but it shouldn't be this bad, right? You know, I'm going to try to convince them to let me take over treatments. I'm thinking of getting back into that next year. We'll see. I still just I'm on the fence, just because
it's such a difficult service, and I'm, you know, having to constantly educate and explain and you know, tell people what to do, and then they don't do it, and then they blame me. Like, that's the hard part about lawn treatments and seeding and all that kind of stuff, right? And now here in the video, I'm push mowing, and I know a lot of people who are like really anti push mow, but I'm fine with it. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I like it. It's one of the more enjoyable ways to do things. Now, obviously, there's no grass back here, so there's that. But I don't have any issues push mowing. The only issue I have push mowing is sometimes it seems like push mowers today are way weaker than they used to be. Going back into some of my old videos, I had a Honda HRX, and I was kind of like ragging on it for not being worth $800 at the time. And in hindsight, I would disagree with myself. I think if I could get a Honda HRX now that was running, and like, that mower was phenomenal. It cut so perfectly, and you know, I went after that Honda HRX. I got the Toro Time Master 30. I ran that for like 4 or 5 years before it finally crapped out on me. And I love the Toro Time Master, but I don't want to spend $1,500 on a mower either, you know. So maybe the same thing with the V-Rod. Maybe the source of all of my problems. Okay, and I'm having this epiphany as I say this. Maybe the source of all of my problems is that I get a little cheap sometimes, you know. If I would just spend the money, how much, you know, how much better would things be, right? If I would have just spent 18 grand on the John Deere and not got the V-Ride, if I would have just, you know, gone ahead and spent $1,500 on another Toro 30 that I know I love, you know, how much better would things be, right? So, all right, so we're moving on to weed eating, and here's the deal. I need to know a better way to weed eat, because the clamp that I've got on my trimmer for the GoPro is like, it sticks out like a sore thumb, and like, I just don't want this big giant camera, you know, and it also flings rocks and grass at the GoPro, so I've already broken one screen. So if anyone has a better mounting idea, I need to know what that is. I need to know how you guys are recording your trimming stuff. And you'll see in other videos, like, I hold it in my hand, but then I don't get the angle right, or I don't have the lens set up right, and it catches too narrow of a view. So I don't know, help me out there.
So there's that one done. I don't know if I'm going to do voiceover or not, but that yard's in one of these little cookie cutter neighborhoods. If you look around me as I drive, you'll see these yards are teeny tiny, and they're all basically the same little layout square. They put up about 50 or 60 houses in a matter of 6 months, and I've got 3 yards out here so far. I should have had 4, but you know, I got that last yard from another lawn guy who's trying to get out of the area, and he said he was going to send me another one, but I hadn't heard on that one. So you know, and I'm not gonna like push the issue with him or anything. It's not that big a deal. I got the one. Anyway, that yard in particular, True Green is treating it. Can you tell? They've been treating it for a year. They treat a lot of people out there, and you know, look, here's the deal. There's no weeds. All right, it's actually a really good slate. It's a really good starting point, and what I mean by that is, I'm going to try to take that over next year. I want to get back into lawn treatments, and I'll talk more about that later, but it's a good slate because I'm not going to be fighting weeds, and the Bermuda grass that's there, if I do the right things in the spring, that lawn can be immaculate. You know, say you do the right combination of fertilizer and preventative maintenance, and then you just mow it properly, mow it short. Come July 4th, which is really my target with Bermuda grass. Come July 4th, the holiday, whenever you are out doing your cookouts and stuff, that thing ought to be as green as can be. So it's a timing situation, but I'm not going to be fighting weeds necessarily. I'm just going to be focusing up on, can I make it green? Can I keep it green? And crossing my fingers for rain next year, because this year was one of the rainiest years of my life ever. I mean, you know, February marks 10 years of me doing this business, and I got rained out this year in August. I've never in my life been rained out in August. You know, we're usually struggling to find work because we go into a drought situation, right? And all the lawns dry up. And the way my landscape schedule works, oh, that is a bumpy railroad track. The way my lawn schedule works, I've got a spring round of landscape maintenance, a summer round, and then a fall round. By the time August rolls around and the drought rolls around, I've already done my summer round of maintenance, so there's really not much to do if we're in a drought situation. This year, I could barely keep my head above water, literally, because it was raining so much. And maybe I posted a little bit of that, but it just constant in August. And then September, it like shut off completely, didn't rain an ounce. And we finally, last week, the very last week of September, started getting a little bit of rain. So anyway, I'm headed to a yard that I've already been to today, and I didn't show it because I texted ahead 2 hours ago and I said, hey, I'm going to be out there. Please have large mower access, you know, open, because they park cars in their yard, which is fine. I mean, that's not an issue. The issue is I had to push mow it the last 2 weeks already because I didn't have large mower access. And I gave them a heads up last week. I didn't give them a heads up the time before that because, I mean, it hadn't been an issue. But I gave them a heads up last week, and I got there and it was blocked. I gave them a 2-hour heads up today, and I get there and it's blocked. So what? Like, again, it's totally fine, but at the same, like, I can't, you know, knock on the door and nobody answers. Knock on the door, nobody answers. Wait. You know, call the guy. Does he pick up? Does he not? Like, you know, I need to be able to get in, get out, and go. And you know, it's nothing. Again, nothing like rude or hey. It's just how it is. Like, you know, I don't have any ill will. It's just like it's enough of an inconvenience where it's like, okay, well, I'll try again next week maybe. And I text him that, and then he immediately is like, no, wait. If you're still there, wait. And I was like, you know what? I got one down the road. I'm gonna try to get back out. Oh, because that was another thing. Last week when I push mowed it for the second time, I was there earlier that day too, and I texted him and I said, hey, I need you to move the black car, and I'll have to come back and mow it later. And then I came back and it wasn't moved, so I just went ahead and push mowed it. Just kind of shrugged it off, and that's why I gave him the 2-hour heads up today. And then I get there and it's still not moved. And if it's not moved this time, I'm just gonna have to tell him, like, dude, like, it's in the way. So we're almost there. Let's take a look.
All right. So yeah, I caved. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go push mow it. All right, but listen, it's a situation. Look at this. My mower blows this plume of smoke after it sits and rolls on the trailer, because going from that last push mow in the backyard to this one is, you know, a 5-minute drive. So I don't know why that oil builds up like that on this particular mower, but it happens all the time. I'll mow a yard, go mow the next one with it, and then it'll blow this plume of smoke. So don't know what's up with that, but hey, you know what? It cuts the yards, so I'm not complaining. But anyway, yeah, I was saying before, people always complain about push mowing. I'm fine with it, as long as the customer's realistic about what I can do with a push mower. Because that's one of the downsides, which is I can't, if the engine's not big enough and it won't process like thicker like sticks and leaves and stuff, I have to kind of you know, do what I can. And if I can't do it with that, then you know, it'll just kind of have to be the way it is. And that was kind of my concern with this property, was if I can't get the big mower in, I can't process a lot of the leaves and sticks and stuff that fall in the back. And the whole reason I got this job was because things weren't getting done, right? And so I'm talking to him, and he was okay, and everything's fine. But yeah, I was sitting here, and I'll talk about this in the actual video too. Like, if I had a 36, would I be able to get through there? Maybe, but I don't really know. You know, I don't know if a 36 would fit through these tiny little gaps between the cars. I would like a 36, but again, I've got cheapitis on occasion, right? And the funny thing is I'm fully on board with wanting like high-paying customers and all that. But look, dude, I get it. I get cheap all the time too, and I get reminders constantly of, you know what, you get what you pay for. Why did you do that? But yeah, this is a new customer for the year. I've had it for basically since March or April, and yeah, they've been great. I actually really like this yard. I love these little small properties, because even if we get a big downpour and, you know, I can't, you know, get certain properties cut, I can always get these small ones cut with either the push mower or the 48 walk behind, because the 48 walk behind is so lightweight it doesn't get stuck in anything. It's fantastic. I love, as opposed to the V-Ride, I love my 48 walk behind. It's probably one of the best mowers I've ever had. And then there's the V-Ride. And I know, listen, if you're watching these videos in order, or as they come out, like, listen, I know all of my videos are me complaining about the V-Ride, but like, look, this is my life. This is what I do. This is what I have to talk about, is the thing that I do constantly. So the V-Ride that I deal with constantly is going to be a topic of discussion. So I'm going to try not to keep talking about it, but it is the subject of multiple videos coming up. So I apologize if it gets on your nerves. I get it, but listen, this channel's about documentation, and that's what's going on, right? So consider it documented.
So went ahead and push mowed it, obviously, but I'm also realizing that a lot of my fuel is running low. I think I've got one tank in the gas can, and then the mower's on like almost empty. Not quite, but also my GoPro mount here that you're on currently is coming unsticky, because the heat coming through the windshield or something, I don't know, but I'm going to put a new thing on there and hopefully it stays. This car or truck, whatever you want to call it, this truck has that weird kind of speckly plastic, I don't know, textured plastic, there you go, and it's hard to get things to stick, so I'm going to clean it off a little bit, and hopefully we can get a better contact. Got the mount fixed. Hopefully the angle's not too bad on it, because I did not check it, and if it is, that's just how it's gonna be. So we gotta go back through, go check on the yard, because it's one of those that here in the fall, like, it might be growing, it might not, so I really don't know until I go by and look at it, right? And it's a new yard, so I don't want to leave it overgrowing, you know, if in fact it does need it. So we're going to ride past there and just see how it's looking. So I want to talk about that last little mowing situation real quick, because just in short, it was one of those kind of inconveniences that just, you know, couldn't really be fixed. I mean, you know, within a reasonable time frame. So it's one of those things where it's like, just you kind of have to shrug it off. And it made me think a lot about some of the guys that I see on YouTube lately, because I've gotten back into lawn care YouTube, and I'm trying to watch the new guys and all this kind of stuff, and you know, you guys, some of you guys are just heartless, you know. You have no soul. It's all about the money, and it's all about, you know, if I got a push mow, I ain't doing it. I'm going home. I'll never push the line. Why are you such a baby, dude? Like, take care of your customers, man. Especially if they pay their bills, and, like, you know, there's a little minor inconvenience and you're gonna whine and cry. Like, just get over it, you know. I had a discussion with the customer, and it was a situation, and things happen, and it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know it was like that. I thought it was just, you know, I just were putting the car there now, and, like, you know, I didn't know. Now I know, and we made it work. You know, because my main concern really was, there's certain parts of that yard where I can't take that push mower and clean it up as well as I was under the impression they wanted things cleaned up, because the reason I got the job was because the other guy wasn't doing certain things, right? So that was my main concern, is like, am I going to lose this job because I can't get to certain areas and I can't make it quite as clean because I'm using a weaker, smaller, slower mower? So we had a discussion. It's fine, everything's good, and I push mowed it, it's no problem. But some of you guys would get into that situation and start whining and crying because, oh, I got a $12,000 lawnmower, I ain't push mowing nothing, you know, like, and you say it with a big loud voice, and you say it forcefully, as if it makes you come across like tougher than you act. You're just whining and crying, you know, and you're bragging about not wanting to work a little bit harder to take care of somebody, you know. Like, this is the kind of stuff, it's like, time is money, like, everything's money now. Like, I was under the impression when I started my business that I was wanting the freedom to do whatever I want, and, you know, provide a service and provide a business that's moral and ethical, because that's why I hated working in like fast food, or, you know, some of the other places I've worked, was just, it's always money. Don't waste time, don't waste my money, don't, you know, money. What do you mean? What do you mean your paychecks are late? You better, you know, you're just gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to deal with it. You know, you'll be lucky. You know, the systems are down. You'll be lucky if it's not late next week. So you just better get over it. You know, just like super immoral crap. You know, for the sake of money, all the time, money. And now all of you guys are giving advice and starting YouTube channels talking about, you're essentially turning yourselves into the quote-unquote rat race that you claim you're trying to get out of, you know. Policies that, you know, basically your business is almost 100% set up to be nothing but a pure win for you. You know, you've set things up in a way, and you've got a viewpoint that says, if I don't win 100%, it ain't happening no matter what. And you only see win-win or win-lose or lose-lose, you know. You don't, there's a gradient to it, you know. Like, that situation back there was a win-win, but it was more of a, you know, 80% win on my part and 100% win on their part, right? Like, I had to sacrifice a little bit of my victory in the form of a little bit of time and a little bit of legwork, but we're both taken care of at that point, you know what I mean? I get to retain a really good, solid customer, and their lawn's cut, their service is provided. So it's not just a flat out, you know, that wasn't a lose situation for me at all. And some of you guys just wouldn't see it that way because you're greed. You're money driven. You know, you're literally becoming the corporations that you all cry and whine that you're trying to get out of. It's crazy to watch, and people just don't realize it, you know. Or maybe you do. Maybe you do realize it, right? Because the same thing with you know, I'm hiring employees this year, and I'm sitting here thinking that my competition has it together because they've got employees, right? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about what my competition's doing with their employees here in a minute. Let's see what this yard looks like.
All right, I'm recording this voiceover for the third time because my software keeps crashing, and this is why I stopped doing these videos all the time, because I always run into these issues. But I'm not gonna give up this time. Okay, so leave a like, leave a comment. But look at this yard. I'm gonna talk about that more in a minute, but look at this yard. Okay, these lines are the thing that drive me up the wall with this. I've never had a mower that leave these weird lines in the middle. And you leave tell me, like, does this look weird or abnormal? Wait till it goes back, but it just leaves those two little lines, and I hate it. And the thing is you don't notice it going this way, but then you look at the other sun direction and there's these two little lines on every single stripe. And early on with this mower, there was an issue where I thought I did a good cut. I thought I got a good job, and I come back and I see these lines because the sun's in a different direction. And so yeah, this has been my year, right? So now I double cut it, of course, to get all that fixed. But this is on every weedy crabgrass lawn without fail, almost. But yeah, I had this whole thing recorded and talked about, and I don't remember any of it. So I'm just kind of going by the seat of my pants. But this one's a new customer. I did post this cleanup on this yard some time ago. I don't know when this is coming out, but I posted it on October 22nd. If you care to go back and see the cleanup process, it's a really short clip of it because it took forever. The yard's got some kind of spring or a leak or something, so it's wet. No matter how hot it is, no matter how dry it is out, it's always wet, no matter what. And then I need a good way to mount the camera because I'm holding it in my hand right now, and you'll see right here, I miss things. I can't get it in frame. So I need to know how you guys are mounting your cameras. You know, I have a lot to figure out to get back into this YouTube side of things and to take it more seriously. But yeah, like right here, I'm holding it in my hand, and I thought I was getting everything, but look, I'm recording the concrete. So, and I do think I went back and changed my settings, so hopefully the next few days footage are looking better. Here's a lawn that is new this year as well. I've been working on getting the weeds out and all that kind of stuff, getting it to green up. Mind you, this is Bermuda in October. You can see how green it is. It looks so good. And that's another thing. These cameras have like a saturation setting, and I can get it to stay not oversaturated. So I'm not trying to like increase the green with the settings, right? But hey, one thing I will say, these videos, because of editing fails and having to go over it multiple times, they take a long time. I have to relive this multiple times, right? So it's not just the day there, but it's the editing process. And it takes a long time. It's a lot of effort, you know, as opposed to the sitting in the truck and rambling videos that most people do, which is fine. I do those too. I like them. They're valuable. They're good videos, but I also like these higher effort things. But dude, it takes a long time to make this stuff. So if you like it, if you enjoy it, even as bad as these camera angles are, please leave a like, because it'll get better. It will. I just have to figure out a good way to set things up. But But this yard in particular made me angry because of the wedge cuts on the hillside. I've never had a mower do that, and I'll talk about it in this video, I think. But after this, I went home, and the next morning I spent like 3 hours leveling and mowing and leveling and correcting, and kind of got it dialed in. But you'll see that in the next video after this one. But yeah, if you like it, thank you, and subscribe.
All right, so here's one of my gripes on the Skag. So this slope is not that serious, and first and foremost, it has a lot of trouble holding the hill. But then when you look down here, maybe you can see it, maybe not, but like right in there, it's like a wedge whenever it cuts. And there's the wedge there, and then there's a wedge here. Hopefully it's coming across on the camera. But it cuts the slopes on a wedge. And now my question is, I thought the V-Ride was supposed to be floating deck, awesomeness, you know, smooth cut no matter what. It's the only mower I've ever had that does that on slopes. I've brought my Xenon 60 here from Deere, and it doesn't do that. And I brought my Skag 48 watt behind here, and it doesn't do that. I've dropped it off to have the deck level checked. It should be fine. Tire pressures are in, it's fine. The blades are brand new, unless they're just selling nothing but bent blades. I've had multiple sets of blades on this, and it does it every single time. So I'm using it because it's a, you know, 11 grand lawnmower. I'd like to get utilization out of it, but like, I don't know, man. I really don't like the 48. It's just bad. You know, they really should have put some anti-scalp wheels or something, but you know, I'm sure someone's gonna have something to say, but why is it on this mower and none of the other 4 that I brought here? You know, you tell me.